Welcome everyone. Michele Place here. Thank you for joining me today. I wanted to use the soft foam roller today for some myofascial release. Fascia is also known as connective tissue, and therein lies the secret of the whole thing. It connects the entire body, from the tiniest little spindle in a fiber in a muscle to an organ, groups of organs. There's a piece of fascia that goes from your eyebrows down over your back body to the center of your foot. We want our fascia to be able to move when we do and allow us all the possibilities. So why does the fascia become tight? Injuries, right? Overuse, dehydration, inactivity can all help to create restrictions. If you think of a spider web and how glorious it is, right? And its balance and symmetry when it's first made, and then that tiny little fly flies into that spider web, and right there you have a shift and a change in that beautiful web. And it's like a scar tissue that creates, or an adhesion, and that spider web cannot move or does not have the balance that it did prior to that. The effectiveness of foam rolling is to help manage treating injuries, right? So if you have an injury, releasing some of the fascia can be helpful for that. Muscle soreness, we can alleviate some muscle soreness by doing myofascial release. We can help to break down scar tissue and adhesions, right? So those are sort of abnormal cross links in the body, right? So maybe instead of things sort of moving like this, you have a sort of a cross hatching, which is going to start to inhibit your movement. We want to increase the range of motion in our body. We want to have muscle balance in our body so that all the possibilities are there for us, should we choose to use them. I want to show you a picture. We're going to be working on the back body today. So I'm going to show you this picture. And you can see the layers here, right? The different muscles, how they're connected, and they just seem to flow. We're going to try to restore some of that in our body, right? Make our fascia sing. I'm using a soft foam roller. This is by OPTP. You can buy it on Amazon. I think they're about $40. It's squishy and it has a tackiness to it in a good way. So it's great for foam rolling. If you do have a harder roller, please be careful. We're not abusing our body and beating ourselves up and seeing how hard we can push. We want this to be gentle. We want to be able to breathe through it, right? We want to restore hydration in our body by just freeing the fascia up a little bit. And there are structures in our body that are not meant to be, pounded and released. They're structural, they're important. So listen to your body. If you do have osteoporosis or osteopenia, please talk to your doctor about doing this and whether it's appropriate for your body. All right. I like to do assessments before this. It allows us an opportunity to see exactly what happened from the foam rolling. So do you need to do your assessments all the time? No, you'll know your patterns and you'll know where to go with your foam rolling. Your body will guide you. But for today, let's go ahead and do an assessment first, here and there, and see what happens. Okay? Let's get going. I have a mat on the floor. If you feel like you might need a pillow for support or a towel, feel free to grab that. The first thing I'm going to do is lie down on my back, and I want to do a couple of assessments and see if that changes at the end of our foam rolling today. We're just treating the the back body from the shoulders down to the pelvis. All right? Placing your feet on the floor. Relax your head, neck, and shoulders. Take a few deep breaths. And then very slowly, focusing on the tailbone, allow the tailbone to gently begin to curl towards the ceiling. Not a lot of muscular involvement here. It's more of just assessing our bone rhythms and movements. And then relax the tailbone back down. And once again, from the tailbone, gently curling towards the ceiling. Feel the low back gently drop down. And now continue up in that bridge, reaching the tailbone out. Reaching the knees out. And just notice how the body moves up off of the mat. Then slowly begin to come back down. Feel the sternum soften. Keep breathing, relaxing the jaw. Let's do 2 more of those. I'd like you to pay attention to the quality of your movement. Tailbone curls. And then eventually the tailbone elongates out. Big breath. And as you exhale, soften the sternum. Notice if you feel any tightness or tension or imbalance. I think we'll stop with that one. Let's go ahead and take both of the knees and let the knees drop over to the left side. Notice how that movement feels in your hips, in your waist, in your ribs, in your shoulder. And then gently bring your legs back to center, sort of weighting into the belly. And then drop your knees over to the right side. Notice how that's different. Through the hips, through the waistline, up into the ribs, the shoulder. Take a breath, feel the weight of the belly, bring you back. Let's do that one more time on either side. So go slowly, notice the pull of tension, or perhaps the ease of movement. Gently come back to center. We're wanting to notice, and then after we do our fascial release, we'll be coming back and repeating this and see if we feel different. Notice where you feel some pull, where things are not as relaxed or free. Maybe it's your breath that's guiding you into that awareness. And then coming back to center. Nice job. All right, we're going to go ahead and come on up. And we're going to grab the foam roller. I'm going to face you for this section here, just the beginning of this section. We will be doing an assessment here. Surprise. So I'd like you to have the foam roller right below your shoulder blades. So the bottom of my shoulder blade is, I can feel it sort of poking down into the foam roller. I'm going to gently tuck my pelvis a bit so my pelvis looks a little more like a flat surface. And then place your hands behind your head. From here, relax your shoulders. Good. Support your head, let your head relax. We're going to side bend to the right. Notice I'm not rotating, I'm not turning here, I'm just side bending. You're sensing any tension here along the side of the body. Come back to center, and then let's side bend over to the left. Again, you're sensing any tension here. It may not be the whole side of the body. For me, for example, I'm tight here. I don't feel the tension so much in the waistline. Coming back to center. Let's do that one more time on either side. Support your head in your hands. Do relax your shoulders. Breathe. Notice how your breath moves into the left lung fully, or is there some restriction there? Come back. Restriction from the outside. And then over to the other side. One more time here. Notice your breath in through that right lung and rib cage. And then back to center. Nicely done. So from here, we're going to begin to create myofascial release or connective tissue release in through that upper back area. I'm going to turn myself to the side. Again, I'm going to position that foam roller just below the shoulder blades. My pelvis, I've got a little core engagement here just for safety, not much. And then my hands are behind my head. Make sure your shoulders are down to make sure you don't create tension in your neck. From here, I'm going to be sliding my ribs from side to side. Sliding my ribs from side to side. Kind of pressing back into the roller as if a bear would push into a tree and scratch its back. So feel that motion. I'm going to turn and face you again. So this side-to-side motion this might be a better view for you. So I'm not rolling from side to side. It's called fascial smearing. And it's dragging sort of that surface layer, that fascial layer in the skin from side to side. Good. So I'm going to roll the roller up a little bit higher, up my back. So I'm sort of between the shoulder blades now, and again, side to side. You may feel more comfortable with your feet wider, right? Feel free to adjust that. And breathe. And I'm going to roll the foam roller up a little bit higher. Shoulders down. Pelvis weighted. It doesn't need to stay still. Do notice as you move right and left if there's a different pull down into your trunk. Great. Let's go ahead and take the roller now. I'm going to go below the shoulder blades and a little lower than we started. So I'm not feeling the shoulder blades on the roller so much. And again from here, side to side. Breathing. Again, I'm going to show you here. Side to side. Let your arms really cradle your head. Notice if you move further to the right or the left. Just noting, mostly relaxing and enjoying this. I'm going to go one level further. Again, we're moving down towards the floating ribs, the kidneys. Please be careful here. You want to avoid the floating ribs. So if you feel any sort of discomfort, please stop. Good. So at home, you could continue with that as long as you'd like. We're rolling to the side now. I'm going to take the foam roller and place it right up into my underarm. If you've had lymph node removal, breast augmentation, please be careful here. Make sure that this is appropriate for your body. In this position, I'm going to take my hands towards the front of the roller. I'm going to now slide my body forward and back. The chest lifts and then the chest drops back. So there's a little bit of movement towards extension and flexion. Make sure you're not gripping into the low back. And let your head move. If you're on a foam roller and this feels uncomfortable, or if you're on your soft roller and it's uncomfortable, you could prop yourself up a little more to have a little less weight, right? Do check your shoulders. Some people like to support their head here, and you can see I can still do this. I do feel a tendency to want to roll a little more, so be aware of it's that rubbing motion. Let's lift up and bring the roller down another level and forward and back. I'm going to allow my head to move where it's comfortable. Noticing if I'm more forward into this area or more back. And let's move down another level. Think of it as a little self-massage. And then down. Let's come down one more. You might look up, you might look down. Make sure you're breathing. I think we're done with that side. Again, if you notice an area that feels particularly tight or sore and you wanted to spend more time on that, please feel free to do so. No pummeling though, right? And we're going to gently come forward and back here. So this is my dominant side. There is more muscle bulk here. It's a little tender, right? It definitely feels like I'm driving over a bump in the road. But it feels safe to me. Breathe, check your breath. Feel free to support your head. And again, remember that movement is forward and back, not rolling. Let's come down another level. So as you're doing this, be present with your body. Be present with the sensations. Find ways that this could be more comfortable for you. Fascial rolling a couple times a week would probably be plenty. I love to do this. This is my TV time activity. I don't get down on the floor very often during the course of the day, so I sort of put all my little exercises together at the end of the day, and this is definitely part of my program. I think we can come down one more. Let your body be your guide. Always rule number one. So we have done the back of the body, really working into what they call that thoraco-dorsal fascia, right? And I showed you the picture earlier, so you can see it coming all the way down the back towards the waistline. Let's do our assessment. Redo our assessment. So this assessment was with the shoulder blades right above the roller. So you feel the shoulder blades kind of poking gently into the roller. Do tuck your pelvis a little bit, head in your hands. Relax your shoulders down. And let's try that side bend again. Take a nice deep breath, coming back to center, over to that other side. Supporting your head. Try not to let your head fall down towards the floor, just side bending. Back to center. Let's try that again, either side. How does that feel? Does that feel better? My range of motion is definitely improved. If I were to feel that there was a particular area that was still tight for me, I would go back and treat that again. Let's go ahead and take the foam roller with us, and we're going to lie on our backs. We're going to place the foam roller under our knees. And this is just a passive stretch, which I feel really completes that whole back release. So go ahead and lift your hips up. Place your hips on the roller. And then draw your knees towards your chest. Now, the roller is down towards my sacrum and tailbone. You can see as my knees come in, my low back drops down. So I'm creating this rounded position. I could even move the roller down a little further. The other thing that's nice about these tacky rollers is they don't slip out from underneath you. So sometimes the harder rollers will sort of skid away, and you might need to hold those rollers with your hands. And this is a passive couple minutes, breathing into your diaphragmatic muscle, breathing into, think of coating your breath into the back of your lungs. Your knees can be wide if that's more comfortable for you, or closer together. I'm not forcing this. I'm just letting gravity draw the weight of my body towards the floor, creating that C curve, and then stretching into this back area. Let's just enjoy the music for a moment. Notice if your knees keep falling closer towards your shoulders. You might feel with every exhale your knees drop a little closer, your back releases. Feel that low back with your breath. If you have low back discomfort, this can be a wonderful stretch. Right? You don't need to do all this smearing and myofascial release. Just resting here can be great. If you're a gardener, right, you work on cars a lot, any place where you're getting into these awkward positions and the back can start to hurt, this is a great way to release low back tension. I'm going to go ahead and slowly lower my legs. I want to very slowly roll the roller out. I don't want to create tension here. I want to roll it out slowly. And then just bring that roller off to the side. Notice if your low back feels better, flatter, perhaps flatter. I'll usually rest for about 5 minutes when I do that. I do have all my students in Pilates. We often do this before class to release that low back tension before exercising. So we started with a bridge. Let's try our bridge again and see if it feels a little freer. Moving vertebra by vertebra. Maybe the musculature feels like it's a little more mobile. So at your leisure, gently curl that tailbone towards the ceiling, feeling the low back drop down. And then let that tailbone bring you up. Reaching that tailbone out past the knees. Keep the sternum nice and heavy. And then inhale and exhale and come back down. I hope that feels better to you. I did have some areas that were tight when we first did this, and they're feeling much freer. Continue, one more bridge, up you go. Relax the gluteals, don't pull the glutes together. Soften through the sternum and shoulders. And on your next exhale again, let every vertebra come down, hopefully a little more independently than when we first started. We're going to drop the legs to the side. Remember our other assessment? We're going to drop the legs over. Just notice. Is there more ease and freedom in through the body, in through the hips, up into the ribs and shoulder? Let the weight of the pelvis bring you back. So I'm weighting into the floor. Let's try that over to the other side. Are your knees a little closer to the floor perhaps? Soften with the breath. And then once again, drop the pelvis down. And just rest back in center. You can stay here if you like. I'm going to roll it to an upright position. So when the back body, when we become restricted and tight into this back body, right, it can affect from the neck and the shoulders all the way through the back, the low back, into the pelvis, the sacrum. I hope that you felt like today's fascial release was helpful for you. Thank you so much for coming. Drink a lot of water after fascial work. We want to rehydrate all those tissues. Have a lovely afternoon, evening, or morning. See you next time.